Welcome everybody to a new episode of Hum Tum and AI. Myself 𝐏𝐫𝐚𝐬𝐳𝐚 from �ଭାରତ CXO. We have a special guest today with us, Bhawna Prabhakar ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Bhawna Prabhakar, with 23 years of marketing experience working with MNCs at senior marketing leadership roles, now into fractional CMO marketing consultant roles, and also recently started her own venture, Hunar Hatti, as founder. It's so nice to know about you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And thanks a lot for having me.
Yes, perfect. So we will just start with our interview session. So my very first question is, what is your opinion on AI?
Well, if you ask me, I think AI is a powerful enabler. That's what how I would like to put it as, because it's just not a tool. It's actually transforming the way we think, the way we decide, the way we create. So it's not really just a mere tool. It's a real enabler. And but like any other tool or any other technology, something which I would want to add is that, it would certainly need a purpose, it will need a direction, and it will need the governance.
Absolutely, ma'am. So my next question is, what role do you think AI will play in your industry in the next few years?
Well, if you ask me, I think for that matter, for every industry, there is no lack of competition because, there is so much of competition, and AI is going to be a game changer. Because it's, as I said, that it's definitely going to be a transformational thing, and it is proving to be one. So for every industry to stay ahead of the game, they will have to have something very different, and AI is going to really help them in doing so because it's going to act like a competitive differentiator. So I think every industry would want to leverage the power of AI in order to stand out, in order to set their different bar altogether, and leverage AI as a value addition to their products and the services. So I think pretty much for that matter, every industry, every segment, whoever wants to scale themselves further would want to bank on this power of AI.
Right, right. How is AI changing businesses work in your field?
As I said, I consider it to definitely be an enabler. So it's the way how we use it, because any technology for that matter can act as a boon as well as a bane. It all depends upon us that how do we utilize, how do we leverage that industry. AI for that matter is certainly very, very useful in order to enhance the productivity, efficiency, and efficacy of everything for that matter. May it be streamlining the operations or improving the targeting, or actually real-time analysis, which helps in many industries. So it's going to impact every decision in a good manner. So I feel it. So that's the reason, in the beginning I said it's certainly an enabler. So it is definitely going to be a game changer for productivity, efficiency, and efficacy enhancer.
Absolutely, ma'am. What challenges does your industry face while using AI?
I think the biggest challenge is data. So if you ask me whether we call it a small startup or MSME, or even for that matter, the multinational or the global or the any big organization, data is supreme. But at the same time, data can pose a lot of problems because end of the day, the output depends upon what we are inputting. So AI is nothing but the artificial intelligence and the machine learning. So whatever you are going to feed into it, it's going to give the outcome depending upon what you have fed it as a fodder. So to begin with, if the data set itself is not really right, so obviously you cannot expect the right outcome out of any process of AI, whatever we use it as. So in most of the organization, I would say data becomes the challenge because it's not that there is a lack of data, but there is definitely a challenge in collating the data. Because the data is available in a lot of silos. So most of these organizations have different data silos where there is absolutely lack of crosstalk between the data. So one set of data speaks one story, another set of data may speak completely different story. And if you expect AI or any machine learning for that matter to come out or something, obviously there will be a lot of errors in the outcome. So for me, I think the biggest challenge is to streamline, consolidate the right set of data to have, many of the organizations now are working in data lake projects, data pooling, so that, there is a crosstalk and there is a unanimity in terms of, the kind of data which is circulating inside the organization. Another challenge is resistance to change. So the kind of speed which the AI is really, coming up. So the change obviously is always difficult. So those who are resisting are definitely feeling it as, as a big challenge towards that. Another thing could be lack of uh, talent who are going to utilize the data, understand AI to the core. So I think that also is something which can pose the challenge or hurdle in the coming times. And of course, we cannot neglect the power or the risk, I would say, of over automation. Because as I was saying, that technology can be boon as well as bane. So overutilization or over dependence on something can always pose a lot of challenges. So I feel automation can also be a challenge where if we miss on that human connect or human touch, is obviously going to miss out big way. So completely fully automated system or over dependence on automation can also be a big challenge where we miss out on the human touch or the human connect between the companies and the customers.
Such a broad perspective, fantastic. Yeah, nextly, I
Yeah,
wanted to ask you, how can companies help their employees get ready for a future with AI?
I think it's time when companies have to heavily invest on upskilling the talent. Because AI certainly needs a different set of talent, different set of thought process, different set of thinking, a different set of mindset altogether. So, to which I think it's the time when the organizations will have to really put dedicated efforts to upscale and upskill their existing talent. As I said, that in the challenges, the resistance to change is something which is a big barrier at the moment. So the organizations will really have to foster a culture of adapting to change, foster a culture of experimentation, foster a culture of unlearning and relearning. So I think that's where the organization will really have to put a lot of dedication their employees to consider AI as a co-pilot and not as a replacement. So that's somewhere the organization really need to put in their efforts, money, and time.
Absolutely, ma'am. Um, do you think AI creates more jobs or does it take them away in your industry, and why so?
For that matter, I would say, barring any industry, AI is, let's accept, it's going to impact roles and it's going to impact every role for that matter. But the impact of or the degree of the impact would vary from roles to role, because some roles like many daily routine jobs would definitely get converted into automated systems. So those are going to be the high impacted roles, whereas some roles would not be impacted to that level. So that's what I was saying, that that barrier or the resistance or the fear of replacement is not truly a replacement, but it's going to be restructuring, reshaping of the roles. Because end of the day, as I said, that it's not going to be completely machines or robots which are going to take over the humans, but we will need a different set of people, will need different set of roles, where they will have to start developing AI strategy, where they will have to start developing critical thinking in what is really needed, where there will be people which will be required for design thinking, or a lot of other things which are needed from the governance point of view for AI. So it's not going to replace human, but the roles are definitely going to shift. So it's going to be an evolution. It's going to be reshaping, restructuring, and uh, uh, re, uh, restructuring of the entire roles as such, not really replacement.
Absolutely. What ethical issues should companies think about by using AI?
See, first and foremost, I think, as I was saying, that data. So data is prime. So it's going to be very, very critical. So the ethical issues could be reducing the biases, because at the end of the day, it's AI, it's machine. So they have to have human interference in order to validate and not just blindly believe what is coming out from the other side of the system. Transparency, privacy, accountability. So I think these are something which are going to be very critical in terms of maintaining or governing, as I was mentioning in the beginning, that any tool, any technology needs purpose, it needs direction, and it needs governance. So we cannot let it loose and go anywhere. So that's something which really needs to be managed.
How is AI changing customer experience in your field?
I think we all have to accept the fact that, in the entire gamut or entire sequence of events, every seller is a customer somewhere in the entire chain of events, right? So we all are somewhere or the other consumer, and we all are somehow beneficiaries of AI as well, which is automatically we are becoming the beneficiaries of AI. So everyone is tasting AI some way or the other. Few are getting the first hand experience to a larger extent, few are getting at a relatively lesser extent. But it's not, nobody is really now untouched from the AI world, I would say. So what's more important is that every customer now knows, has some level of experience of AI. So 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 the so it's going to be a game changer, as I said, that the organization will have to put a lot of effort in creating that delight, that wow factor for the customer, because customers are also now becoming more and more smarter. So because they all, and for that matter, as I said, that we are also customers somewhere or the other in the entire chain. We all prefer to have a lot of personalized engagement, because even if we take an example of a chatbot, now chatbot is an AI product, right? But if we feel that we are just speaking to a robot who is just throwing some meaningless, irrelevant answers to what we are asking, so obviously we get put off, and it completely dismantles the entire conversation. So that's where the companies will have to put in a lot of efforts to make the experience delightful, to make the experience more uh, humanly, so that
Humanized.
people do not feel humanized, people don't feel the lack of that human touch or human connect. So all these things can be utilized for lot of predictive recommendations or predictive solutions, but it's again how it is utilized, how it is leveraged. So there has to be a toll gate, there has to be a guard which has to validate what we are presenting to the customer. The experience cannot be compromised.
Absolutely. In your opinion, is it a boon or a threat for the youth, the AI?
So I think, as I have already somehow answered your question in my earlier answers, so every technology can be beneficial. Every technology has its benefit as well as it has its disadvantages as well. It's all up to us how much, what, for what, and what purpose, and how much are we leveraging it. So for youth also, it definitely can be a boon if they are equipped, if they are adapting to the change, Because as I mentioned that if today's youth, which is definitely not the case because they are more and more adaptive than the generations earlier. So adaptability and removing the resistance to AI is definitely going to help them. Willingness to change, willingness to learn new things, willingness to upscale them to the changing needs of the market, of the environment, and acquiring new mindset, acquiring new skill set is definitely going to make it as a boon. But on the contrary, if it's opposite, then obviously, it can definitely act as a barrier also. It can act as a hurdle as well. So it all depends on how and how much do we want to really leverage the power of AI.
Absolutely. What
But to a
skills?
larger extent, sorry, but to a
Yeah,
larger extent, it is definitely a boon.
absolutely. Absolutely. You have such a broad perspective. It's very insightful. Yeah. So, what skills do you think are important for people working with AI?
So number one, being curious. So I think unless we really keep ourselves curious, so curiosity is definitely the first skill. Data literacy. So as I said that, one really needs to be very data driven. So some level of, data literacy is definitely a must. Critical thinking, uh, prompt engineering, uh, cross disciplinary or cross divisional collaborations, that is also something which are really must, because as I was mentioning earlier that there has to be a crosstalk, not only between the data but between the different teams as well, because the end message which goes out has to be a uniform manner. So I think main thing is curiosity, a willingness to learn, willingness to upscale and changing mind shift, and adaptability. So these are definitely the skill sets which are important for people who are working with AI.
Absolutely. How important is teamwork between humans and AI in your industry? And can you give an example of the same?
Very important, as I mentioned that unless there is a crosstalk, and it's not only limited to AI but otherwise also for any successful results for any organization, there has to be a cross collaboration, there has to be handshake between people, between data, between functions. So that's very very important. So teamwork is something which cannot be compromised, because if there is a break anywhere in the sequence, obviously the end result is going to be very undesirable, which none of the organization would want to. And I think most of the organization foster that culture of cross collaboration. So which is the must. Human intuition is, as I again and again coming back to the same point, that just leaving everything on AI is definitely not the answer. There has to be a human intervention to some levels. It depends upon what level, which stage, but it cannot be just blindly left on AI, because end of the day it has to be validated. For that matter, since you're asking for some example, even if we consider it as marketing, so AI can help us design some marketing campaigns, give us some very innovative ideas. But end of the day, marketing cannot just blindly copy paste that. They will have to figure out that which is the right one, which resonates with their target audience. So there definitely is a scope of people who will have to. Of course, it's going to, as I mentioned, it's going to decrease or reduce the entire turnaround time, because it's from the conceptual stage to the execution stage, the speed to act, or it's very accelerated, because these days we are dependent a lot of content writing, or very basic things are also, we take advantage and leverage AI. But unless someone really goes through the content and just publishes it, without really knowing that, is it really the right content which we wanted it to be published, it can be disastrous. So we can take support of AI, but it cannot be without human intervention. So AI can be utilized, can be leveraged to give us ideation. It can be used for from the iteration stage to conceptualization stage to process building stage. But the steps where human beings are involved, those cannot be negated.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, lastly, I would like to ask you, what tools or technologies are you currently using for AI?
So since I come in from marketing background, so there have been a lot of AI tools which have been embedded in the systems, may it be CRMs, or may it be marketing data analytics tools, or maybe email marketing, or maybe some predictive analysis, or may it be customer engagement, predictive analysis for the customer journey. So all these tools are definitely what we have been using, and now these days there are a lot of advancements in all those tools, lot of CRMs, like maybe for the example, may it be HubSpot. So they have this special HubSpot AI tools which are now available. Similarly, a lot of data analytics tools are available. Um, and content writing, as I mentioned, that marketing depends a lot in content writing. So that is where a lot of tools are these days available in order to develop a lot of impactful content within shorter span of time, and email marketing. So these are all the different tools which I have used in my entire marketing journey, and there are a lot of evolution which is happening over the period of time, and a lot of advancements are getting us new tools every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a lovely insight from you. Such an interesting conversation and very beautiful perspectives from your side on AI. It was a very nice session. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for having me. And,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.